We reach the dependent originations held.
I think only 9. I think only 9.
9?
Yeah.
Well, 9 I think finish,
Verse 12.
Yeah.
Verse 12. We finished the verse 12.
Abyss you maintain. Yeah, I think at 12. No, verse 13, right? Therefore, in your teaching, significant origin is held. Yeah, 13, yeah. The verse 13. Tumba de la daje physical or chitar condition is charged. Tell a doper thong. Shadows gentle. Jitter condition, the kingdom she don't buy danger to rush again and don't say the invitation. Tell it over no one, don't show me the soldier in Yami and Hoshi. Tell you get them balla, danger to one lepernak. Temple danger to one lepernak, Kundu, Mebata, Rashi, Kini, Yube. Oh, now here, verse 13, right? Therefore, in your teaching, seeing dependent origination is held. That too not as an utter non-existence, nor as an intrinsic existence. Right. Oh, so here, therefore, because in our earlier discussion, all this, the teaching taught that things are devoid of intrinsic existence, things are devoid of intrinsic existence, yet at the same time things can function, right? The functionality of the things can be posited because things are devoid of intrinsic reality. So, the devoid of things as devoid of intrinsic reality, and the things at mere things exist mere at the conventional level can can exist harmoniously, right? Can exist harmoniously. Therefore, because of this nature of the things, on the one hand as devoid of independent existence, yet things function smoothly, smoothly. And because of this kind of teaching, in your this kind of teaching, seeing dependent origination is held, right? And also dependent origination is used as a powerful means to ascertain emptiness, the ultimate nature of the reality, right? Because of this nature, you taught Buddha taught, and many great masters, like Nagarjuna, Aryadeva, Master Chandragiri, all this, they taught dependent origination as they praise the nature of the dependent arising. They admire this wonderful teaching of the dependent arising. That too, not as an utter non-existence, nor as an that too, not as an utter non-existence, nor as an intrinsic existence. So, right. So, in the lower schools, in the materialistic or realist, in the school of the realist and the materialist school of thought, what they do believe is when the Arya Nagarjuna used things are devoid of independent existence because things are dependent arising, right? The lower school, they say, oh, this is completely contradiction, you are making the complete contradiction statement. They do say like this. So therefore, in the Nagarjuna system, first in the lower school of thought, if the things are not true existence, the things become completely non-existence, totally non-existence. If you were to believe in the non-existence of the the causal phenomena, then we are falling into the extreme of nihilism. So therefore, things exist by means of finally the findability, in the way of finding the things, right? So things finally can be found, right? Things finally can be found, and then nor as an intrinsic existence. So, but then from the Nagarjuna's point of view, right? From the Nagarjuna's perspective, if the things exist as true existence, inherent existence, right? If the things become the true existence, then what happens? Then functionality of the things cannot occur. Functionality of things cannot occur. If the functionality of the things occur, this shows the things are devoid of independent existence. In the lower school, they taught completely contrary, right? If the things exist, they are true existence. If the things are true existence, because of the things are true existence, things function, right? The functionality of the things happen, Nagarjuna say, if the things are devoid of independent existence, because things are devoid of independent existence, functionality of the things happen. Of the things, things are devoid of independent existence. So complete total, contradiction, right? The Nagarjuna system and the lower school, completely contradictory statement, right? So then it says the non-contingent is like a sky flower, right? The non-contingent is like a sky flower. Hence, there is nothing that is not dependent. If things exist through their essence, their dependence on cause and condition for their existence is contradiction. Very true, right? Here now, better also, go together with the Tibetan. I feel, much better. Right. Now here what it is saying is number 14, verse 14. If the things, the lower school, the materialist, right? So they say, if the things, because things are true existence, functionality occurs. Functionality of the things can, occur, posited, right? So this is the, basic, the principle of the lower school. Now, from the perspective of the Arya Nagarjuna system, right? What really happened is, if the things, the things enjoying independent existence, right? The things having the intrinsic nature. If the things have their own intrinsic nature, right, then functionality happens, right? Lower school to say this, the functionality of the things can posit it. So then Nagarjuna's system, what they do say is, if that is really the case, then what really happening is in the true existence of the things, functionality cannot happen, right? Functionality cannot happen. So functionality cannot happen. So this is contradiction, right? So this is contradiction. If the things have the true nature, the true independent nature, the functionality cannot happen. So this is from the Nagarjuna's viewpoint. Right? So this is contradiction. This is contradiction, right? So this contradiction should not happen. Got some idea? This contradiction should not happen. This contradiction should not happen. Such contradiction is like a sky flower. Like there is no sky flower, right? There is no person with the 1000 ear. Person having 1000 ear is non-existence. The non-existence of the law of cause and effect is non-existence. The non-existence of the law of cause and effect is non-existence, because there is law of cause and effect. If there is law of cause and effect, non-existence of the law of cause and effect does not exist, because they are contradiction. Right. If there is no short, there is no long. So long as there is long, there is short. If there is fire, so long as there is a fire, there is a water. Fire and water, east and west, north and south, dependent. Right.
What is a non-contingent? I mean, in the verse 14, the beginning,
non-contingent means, non-contingent means, not dependent, not depending on, not depending, right? Independent of what? Independent of cause and effect. Independent of cause and effect. Non-contingent means independent of cause and effect. So, things enjoying independent existence. If the things enjoy the independent existence, then functionality cannot happen, right? Happen. This is from the perspective of the original system, like. So, if the things truly enjoy independence, then functionality of the things cannot happen. So, this is contradiction, right? We need to understand very carefully. This is very important, right? If the things have true nature, true existence, they say, because things have true nature, so things are dependent or arising. Now they accept this fact, this reality, right? This reality. Then, from the Nagarjuna's viewpoint, from the Nagarjuna's perspective, right? If that is the case, then in the true existence of the things, functionality can never happen. The law of cause and effect cannot happen. This is a contradiction. This is a contradiction for lower school, right? Lower school. This kind of contradiction, for you, it becomes non-existence. Like a sky flower, right? Sky flower. Here, therefore, it says, hence there is nothing that is not dependent. So, therefore, because of this nature, there is nothing that is not dependent. That is not dependent on what? Dependent on the conceptual thought. That is not dependent. There is nothing that is not dependent upon cause and effect. Right? That is not dependent on the basis of the designation, right? If things exist through their essence, their dependence on the cause and conditions for their existence is a contradiction. That's what now here, if things exist through their essence, if things have true intrinsic reality, their nature on the cause and effect, no need, right? If the things have the true nature, then you don't need to depend on cause and effect, anything, right? For example, this cup, right? this cup, if if this cup have true nature, true, what do we and how do we understand by true nature, right? True existence. True existence means if this if this cup, if you try to if you try to find, right, if you try to find the essence of this cup, where is this cup, right, where is this bottle, right? No, we may believe, oh, this cup exists, this cup exists, there is a cup, this cup exists from its own side, the color of this cup, the color of this bottle, the shape of this bottle, and then there is a label here, all that the mouth, right, the bottom, all this cup can be found from this. If you say like this, then what happens is, then that means this cup is independent. This cup, if this cup exists independently, then why do this cup need to depend on cause and conditions? Some people, this cup is made in factory, manufactured in a factory, company, right? So this problem come. If something, through our, mind thinks this cup bottle is appeared as something very, independent of what? Independence upon cause and condition, designation of the conceptual thought, then this cup should, this problem come, right? So this is what is meant, because if this cup depends on cause and conditions, this simply show this cup has no independent nature, no intrinsic nature, because something which is dependent upon causes and conditions and something which is not dependent on causes and conditions are contradictory. There is not a single thing which is both, right? Depending upon cause and not depending upon cause, independent, nothing exists. So this, the problem arises, right? For example, like a sprout, sprout. The sprout, for example, like the apple tree, right? Just take an example as apple tree. The apple tree, for us, when we see that things, when we see the apple tree, to our mind, apple tree is perceived. Apple tree is perceived, right? Apple tree is perceived. So this apple tree perceived is only perceived on the basis of the designation. When the many parts, when the basis of designation of the apple tree is seen, oh, we see there's an apple, oh, this is an apple tree. So we develop a kind of thought. In the thought, this apple tree is appeared, the image of the apple tree is appeared. The image of the apple tree is appeared on this conceptual thought. So what appears to your mind? This apple tree. This apple tree, if you try to find where this apple tree, if the apple tree can be found, it can be found from the basis of the designation. There is no other option. This is the only way. If the apple tree can be found from its own basis of designation, then the apple tree no need to depend on causes and conditions. If apple tree does not need to depend on causes and conditions, then what happens? Then if that is the case, then apple seed should give rise to mango tree, because you don't need causes and conditions. You don't need, in order to get the apple tree, you don't need the seed, apple seed. You don't need the temperature, soil, water, all these things. If that is the case, then from the mango seed you can get the apple tree, right? And then if he further goes on, then what happens is, then we will run into problem. Then the in the four school of Buddhism, Vabhishika school of thought, Vabhishika, Citamati, the Sodharandika, Madhyamaka, all these four schools, they take the greatest care not to get any, not to receive any kind of harm at the law of karma. But now if we believe the true existence, then it really harms the law of cause and effect, right? Then we can talk about the four principles of the law of cause and effect. The karmic action is certain. The second one is the potential of the karma can increase. Number 3, if the action is not committed and accrued, we don't need to go through the result. There is no ripening result, right? If the karma, so long as it is not met with the purification, it is not purified, the karmic action, no matter what eons comes in between, it can never be wasted. Karmic action can never be wasted, right? So if we believe in the true existence, we are going against the third law. The third law is, if we do not do action, if we do not commit it, if we do not create the karma, we don't get the result. But here we are getting the result then. If you believe in the true existence of things, so this problem will come, right? Usually the understanding of the karma, the law of karma, although this is the there are different types of karma, at the level of the mental state, the karma, how the karma works can be explained through the different kinds of the mental states. But again, if we really know from the perspective of the Arya Nagarjuna system, Master Nagarjuna system, right, system which is more kind of the subtle kind of things really function at the mere conventional level. With this we can understand the law of karma, the law of cause and effect in much deeper sense, right? Deeper sense. Otherwise we say, oh, something happened, oh, this is karma, right? For example, I get I'm happy today, right? For at this very point of time, I could say I'm happy. But how do we know? How do we say this kind of mental happiness is my own creation of good karma? Right? Normally we take for granted, this is karma, like something this is related to karma, this karma. But how we are going to prove that? Right? So relating to this, so if we can get a deeper insight into the Arya Nagarjuna system of how things are posited, and especially how things go into the disintegration of the things and events, we really get a good idea how karma works then, right? Now let me read this. This is the great master Kyudubje's opening the eye of the fortunate, the text on the Madhyamika, opening the eye of the fortunate, right. Let me read this, this is where I think is very interesting and also important. This point is explained in the Prasanapada in two ways, right. How the past and future is posited, right. In the Buddhist, in the Buddhist teaching, the year, the minute, the decades, the century, the time, right, the person, all are abstract idea. It's neither consciousness, it's neither form, but either of these, but still composite phenomena. According to scripture and to reasoning, first the scripture, there's a one sutra says old age and death occurs due to the condition of birth. Hence it is saying that death is the passing away of the sentient being who dies, and that passing away arises due to the condition of the birth. Again, that very same sutra says death functions in two ways. It acts to destroy the compounded. When we say where the death occurs, it's once 5 aggregates is destroyed. When the 5 aggregates is destroyed, the I which is designated on the 5 aggregates also cease to exist, right. As I said last time, still there is some I, universal I, which goes on to next life, which pervades the 3 times, which goes on in the next life. The I which is designated on the mere physical aggregates of this life ceased, right, ceased. So this is what it means. Again, that very same sutra, it acts to destroy the compounded, and it brings from ignorance. It brings forth ignorance. Then death is followed by what? Death is followed by again next reincarnation, another rebirth. The another rebirth is what? What makes another rebirth is the ignorance. This ignorance is caused by death. So cause and effect, everything. The cause of not being able to cut through the continuity of the defiled aggregates, right. It is saying that death performs 2 functions. Passing away occurs due to its causes, and the passing away itself creates ignorance. This implies that passing away has a cause which brings it about, and that the passing away itself has the ability to create an effect. Because when we talk about the death, it's the cessation. The cessation gives rise to what? Effect. Because the cessation itself is compounded phenomena. Any compounded phenomena has the potential, has the ability to produce effect, right. Has the ability to get what this one, what I mean. Right now here, I think I jump, but it's okay, I need to read this. Likewise, the cause of the future, that is, of the temporary non-arising of the sprout in a field during winter time, is accepted as being the non-completeness of the causes and conditions. Because when there is no harvest, we say there is no water, right. Either no water, the causes and conditions incomplete. When the causes and conditions incomplete, you have no harvest. So the incompleteness of the causes and condition itself is a disintegration, compounded. So that's why it gives rise to the result, no harvest result, right. that is the exhaustion of the previous causes. True here, no? There's no water, enough water, the shortage of water. That shortage of water is what? The exhaustion of the causes and conditions. The exhaustion of the causes and conditions give rise to no harvest. That is the compounded phenomena, right? So, and the non-arising of the latter ones, therefore, it is necessary to set forth the causality of seed and sprout and so on as they are witnessed by the world. In the world, people say, because there was no water, my rice went bad. I have very terrible harvest this year because no water. We have the shortage of water. Now crop is bad. Right? And for the want of food, my son dead. Such expressions to the effect that lack of our previous thing, a later thing came to be lost and were common. Just as it is necessary to accept that the non-exhaustion of the food, because the shortage of the food and the water are the cause for the life of the boy and good rice. Because when the causes and conditions are lacking, it gives rise to result. So, the exhaustion of the causes effect, the exhaustion of the causes and conditions itself is the disintegration. Disintegrate. This disintegration gives rise to result. Now, this way of positing the past and the future is not correct for those who accept the entities exist by virtue of their own characteristics. That is, that the method of cause giving rise to an effect must be posited in such a way that it is found by logical reasoning. But it is correct for those who posit all entities, the cause and effect, the action and the actor, and so forth, merely normally the mere name, the mere concept, without analyzing or examining them, right? This is because darkness arising from the passing away of the lamp and the sprout arising from our seed are in every way identical as regards the status of the being posited merely nominally, which they arise, in which they both are. So, it's very clear, right? Now, here if we try to bring this to the karmic understanding, how the karmic law operates. In the very first moment, we create the karma, whether it is the positive karma or negative karma, right? Out of motivated, out of positive emotion or negative emotion. In the very first moment, the karma is created. This karmic the karmic action is created in the very second moment. The latency, the imprint are posited in your mind stream. In the second, then the moment the imprints are stored or planted, it transforms into the disintegration nature. Because it's a compounded thing, So, therefore, when the causes and the conditions, when the appropriate causes and conditions are not met, it remains for eons and eons. When the causes, so long as causes and conditions are met, then it manifests, it matured. The karmic, this potency matured. So, therefore, we experience the karmic result. So long as causes and conditions are not met, it remain at what? It remain at the continuity of mind. And also, so that means the karma, the mental continuity that we have is the temporary storage, right? Now, what is the lasting storage? What is the most stable storage? The lasting storage is we as a person. We as a person is finally the storage of the karma. Person is the storage itself, and the continuity of the consciousness of the mind is the temporary storage, because we came from the past, we are going onto the future. So, I am the carrier of the karmic karma, the seed of the karma, the imprints of the karma. Right. So, this is what it means, right. Now, here we go a little bit further. Number verse 14. Therefore, since no phenomena exist other than origination through dependence, no phenomena exists other than being devoid of intrinsic existence, you taught. Therefore, since no phenomena exist without depending upon causes and conditions, without depending on the basis of designation, right, without depending on the basis of the designation by the conceptual thought that things cannot in no way exist. So, therefore, because things are dependent upon the causes and conditions, it is therefore a dependent arising, dependent origination. No phenomena exists other than being devoid of intrinsic existence, you taught. No phenomena exist other than being devoid of. No phenomena has the its own intrinsic reality, intrinsic nature. All are devoid of intrinsic reality, intrinsic nature, right. Right. So, we all know all the things depend on causes and condition. Yes or no? This is easy, right. Think. All the things of the past, present and the future, are they dependent upon causes and conditions or not?
Only the non-produced phenomena, not. The non-produced phenomena, not.
All the phenomena, right? Are all the phenomena dependent upon the causes and conditions? No. If no, give example.
The non-produced phenomena.
Non-produced phenomena. Non-produced phenomena no longer exist, right? Non-produced phenomena is a phenomena. Huh?
Yes.
So, it is a phenomena.
Yes.
Huh? Non-produced phenomena is a phenomena.
No.
No. Is it exist in the past or present or future? No, not exist in the past, not exist in the future, will not be existed in the future also. No. Right. Now, for example, your mind. What is the nature of your mind? What is the nature of our mind? Right. What is the nature of our mind? We all say Buddhahood, right? We all can become Buddhahood, if we make an effort, right? We all do believe that we have the seed of the Buddha. What is that seed of the Buddha? What is the ultimate nature of the mind? What is that Buddha seed? Right.
Knowing awareness. Knowing awareness.
Knowing and awareness. So, this is the conventional, right? We can go beyond, right? This is the conventional nature of the mind. What is the ultimate nature of the mind?
Emptiness of the mind.
So, the emptiness of the mind, our mind as being devoid of independent or intrinsic reality. So, this is the ultimate Buddha nature, right? This is the Buddha nature. So, this Buddha nature, which is the mere negation, which is the mere, the the negation of intrinsic reality, which is the mere devoid of intrinsic reality. This nature, is it dependent upon causes and conditions? Right? This is permanent. This nature is permanent phenomena. Then how come it depends on causes and conditions? When we say causes and conditions, we are talking about something which can change, changeable things. Permanent thing depends on causes and conditions. Huh? No. This your the emptiness of the mind is governed by causes and conditions? No.
No.
So all the things are not dependent on causes and conditions, right? If things are not dependent on causes and conditions, now, for example, like the emptiness of our mind, the very emptiness of our mind. So this is not dependent arising. Then we are going to say it is not dependent arising. So, so we learn through this, by discussion better. We can get it. So they are not dependent arising, dependent origination. Huh? It is not a dependent arising, dependent origination. If you say if it is not dependent arising, then we would follow that it is, it is not devoid of true existence. Then we prefer the lower school's idea, lower school's view much better than the Prasangika, Master Nagarjuna's philosophy, right? Because there are still the things which are not dependent arising. If things are not dependent arising, then things are not devoid of independent existence. Are we going to say the emptiness of our mind is not devoid of independent existence? Or we say this nature of the mind is just not existence. We say, there are three kinds of dependent arising. There are three kinds of dependent arising. First is dependent arising the causes and conditions. This is everybody believe, even the modern science believe, no question. In the field of the science, physics, chemistry, biology, all they do believe in the law of cause and effect. Whether they are talking about karmic law of cause and effect, this is a different case. This we leave aside. But law of cause and effect, they do believe. Like if two chemicals mixed, you get the different result, right? And then also in the physics, very related to cause and effect. One cause give rise to different manifestation, implication, right? So this is something basic, right? Basic principle. And then the second one is this. Now must become more subtle. Dependent arising, that everything depends on parts. This book is a whole. What are the parts? These are the parts. Each of the page, right? And each of the page, the color of this, everything is dependent on this book, right? Because why this book is dependent on its own part is because we cannot perceive this book without perceiving the size of this book, the color of this book. There's no way that we can say I perceive this book without seeing the color of this book, the size of this book. So this shows this book is, in order to perceive this book, you need to perceive the parts of this book, right? So therefore the whole the wholeness and the part. No. So the whole is dependent upon the parts, many parts. Even now here the emptiness. Now this is the emptiness is dependent upon what? Upon many factors. When I say, I don't say many causes and conditions. It depends on its own part. What are the parts of the emptiness? Right. So the mere how to say, the mere negation the mere negation of the intrinsic emptiness is depend on the parts. What kind of parts? The mere negation of independent existence. This part. And also there is the mere negation. And then what other qualities? Emptiness. Are there any other qualities of the emptiness of your mind? One is, I already told you, mere negation quality. Right. Then what other?
Dependent arising itself.
Dependent arising. Yeah, in the emptiness there is we call dependent arising, right? There is a dependent arising quality of the emptiness. So this is what we used to say, the mere negation of intrinsic reality is the quality. And then what are the in some texts they wrote a lot of qualities. You find only one qualities. I mean, one could say, the cessation quality, right? No, sorry, the negation quality, the mere negation. This negation is a phenomena, right? If it is phenomena, then it is also devoid of independent existence, right? Emptiness is not
Is also depend on the base of designation, right?
Emptiness. Basis
Depends on the base of designation.
The base of designation, right?
Without the base designation, there's no emptiness.
Yeah.
Right?
So now, interestingly, right now I'm talking at the the level of the madhyamika. They are madhyamika other than the prasangika madhyamika, right? So there is must Shanti Rakshita, like Bhava Viveka, this madhyamika system, right? Now here in the high school of thought, now we say is now the emptiness. Everything is dependent not only on parts, not only on the causal dependent arising, but also on not only dependent upon the causal dependent arising, not only depend upon the parts, the parts dependent arising. Now finally it is dependent upon the basis of designation. The basis of designation, the basis of imputation by the conceptual thought. So this is the most subtle dependent arising. The most subtle dependent arising. Right. Now what is the basis? Now what is the basis of the designation of the emptiness?
It's the mind.
Huh?
We're talking about emptiness of mind, right?
No, I'm talking about the emptiness of the mind.
Then the basis is the mind.
Huh?
Basis of designation is mind.
Yeah. The basis of designation, the mind cannot never be the basis of designation. When we talk about the basis of designation, we discussed last time.
I thought we were talking about the emptiness of the mind.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the emptiness of the mind. When we talk about the emptiness of the mind, right? Now, for example, if you say what is the basis of the designation of this book, we cannot say this. The basis of the designation of this book, right? Now, for example, the emptiness of this book. The emptiness of this book. What is the basis of the designation of the emptiness of this book? We cannot say mind.
Right.
So same. Now, what is the basis of designation of this book? First, take the simple example.
Parts, the colors, pages, and all that.
Right. So this is book. Much easier. Now, when we of the mind, what is the basis of the designation of our mind?
It's the consciousness of the past, and current, and the future.
You can say the mere negation itself, the mere negation of the intrinsic reality of our mind. This is the basis of the designation of our mind. When we talk about the basis of the designation, there are two kinds of basis of designation, right? Right. Now, for example, when we talk about the basis of the designation of this book, there are two kinds of the basis of designation of this book. One is something which is that book, and one is something that is not this book. One basis of designation of this book is something which is that book. One is not this one. Now, what is the if we say what is the basis of the designation of this book, something which is that book, give me the example, right? Through this, we learn, otherwise. Huh? Oh, yeah, something which is that book. Something which I say the basis of the designation of kinds. One which is this book, one which is that book, and one which is not that book.
Which is that book is the whole composite. The total composite.
Right.
Composite phenomenon.
Yeah, when all this come together, when all there. For example, before this book is not made. This book is not made. All the pages. And then we need to make this book. We print and buy all this stuff. We print and buy all this stuff, the cover, all this, and then we leave it, right? We leave. Anybody who really feel, who really, how to say, who develop a thought, oh, now this is the book. This is the book. At that time, the basis of the designation coming together, the aggregation of many factors, then this thought, the thought give the name. The thought give the name. This is the book, right? So I get that. Oh, the moment I see the basis of this book, I develop. Oh, this is the book. I develop thought, right? So the book appeared in my thought. So this what appears as a book in my thought, if we try to search from the basis of designation, we cannot find. We can never ever find. Therefore, there is a danger that we come to believe this book no longer exists, is non-existence. So this is what we are dealing. So now better to discuss like this, so that we can get better idea. Otherwise, if I explain like this, I don't know, how helpful, is, right? So this thought, we develop a thought. So this thought, now if you try to search from the part of this book, the basis of this book, the aggregation, many aggregation, right? From the aggregation of many parts, we can never find the book. Does that mean this book no longer exists? I see it. Right? I like this book. If I like this book, it shows this book exists, does exist. But how it exists? If we try to search, we cannot find. Now, the simple conclusion is, now this book exists only by virtue of mere designation, by conceptual thought. The name, the book is designated upon the aggregation of many parts of this book, right? The part of this book. Therefore, because of this, anybody who sees this book, they think, oh, this is book. This is the book I saw. I saw the blue book, right? So, because we already designated on the basis of many parts, this is the book. So now there are another basis of designation which is not this book. Give me the example.
The color of the pages.
That's right. Now we better use the intelligent, right? Yeah, the color of this book is the basis of designation, which is not this book. The size of this book, each page of this book, it's not this book, but it's still the basis of the destination of this book, right? For example, we need to give the name this book, right? If we don't give this name, what's the problem? What would the problem is? This book is not table. We already discussed this few times. Why this book is not the table? The moment anybody see this book, we don't think, oh, I saw this table. No, nobody, right? Why? Huh?
We were given we already give a name to it. We reassign a name. We designated a name.
Before, for example, right? For example, you are called John. You are called John. Before somebody somebody must give you the John, right? You are not John. We are not John. I'm not Chamba or Sindri, right? Before name. Also, you are not the person. Right now, what you are called, for example, if you are called Fred, right? You are not. Before somebody give you the name Fred, you are not Fred. Then somebody give you name. Oh, you are Fred, right? You are Fred. Or you say, for example, you are teacher. Oh, you are from now on you are teacher. I give you certificate. From that moment onwards, you become teacher. Then then the whole 5 aggregates become the basis of the designation you call as teacher, teacher Fred. Right. Therefore, anybody know your basis of designation, they think I saw teacher Fred. Because the basis of designation, when they see, they called. Because the name has already been given. On the basis of your designation, the name teacher has already been given. Although we cannot say, your, for example, our 5 aggregates, your body is not you, your feeling is not you, your mind is not you, but still these are the basis of designation. On this we call teacher or teacher Fred, teacher John. From that moment onwards, you become the teacher. Whoever say you think I saw the teacher, teacher John. Got it? Some sense?
Mm-hmm.
So like this, without giving the name, right? So therefore, by giving the name, then from that moment onwards, you become this and that, right? Therefore, this book is, when we see this, the basis of the resignation, this book, we think, I saw this book, right? You perceive this book. You never think this. I saw this table. When you see this book, you never think I saw this. Never think I saw the table. I saw the chair. if you think like this, then something sensory perception problem. Right? So this shows in the basis of designation on which the name is being given. For example, the cow. When we see the cow, the bull, the dog, we don't think, oh, I saw the human being. I saw a guy. We don't say I saw a man, or because this is a basis of destination. The cow has no basis of destination of human being. The cow, the bull, the dog has its own basis of destination. Right? So like this. It's very clear, right? Also the chariot, the chariot, and the wheel, the wooden, all this come into together, and then we call, oh, this is the chariot. When you saw this chariot, before we give the name chariot, if there is a chariot, now what happened, right? Now even if you saw the wheel, the particular specific wheel over there, we should think, oh, this is a chariot. Why we don't get this, thought? It's because we have not designated this wheel as a chariot, right? So like this. Okay, I'm just so now. Therefore, since no phenomena exists other than origination through dependence, no phenomena exists other than being devoid of intrinsic existence. You thought. Now today in verse 16, and then we stop. I think 16 or 17. Because intrinsic nature cannot be negated. If phenomena possess some intrinsic nature, nirvana would become impossible. You cannot achieve nirvana if things have true, intrinsic nature. And elaborations could not be ceased. You taught where? In many of the sutras, in many of the sutra. Now, because intrinsic nature cannot be negated. What does that mean? Because intrinsic nature cannot be negated. If phenomena possess some intrinsic nature, nirvana would become impossible. Now here, because intrinsic nature cannot be negated, that means if the things have intrinsic reality,
they will never change. Then you will never change.
What?
Then you will never change.
Right. If the things have the intrinsic nature, then you have good quality, or you have bad quality, or you are a good person, or you are a bad person, whatever. Good person. If you are a good person, you can remain as a good person throughout your life. If you are a bad person, you can remain bad person throughout your life. So this is what in early times people believe. People don't believe in the brain plasticity, right? Now people do believe. We believe, as the the medical science advances, we come to believe in the brain plasticity. In early times, if people remain bad throughout the life. No chances of transformation. Now this idea completely changed, right? So anyway, if the that means if the person is independent through existence, the quality itself, the quality of the goodness, the quality of the badness never changed. It remained as it is. Right? If the quality of the goodness and badness never changed, then what happened?